You may not realize this yet, but giants have existed in this earth. And I'm not talking about Andre, and I'm not even talking about Robert Wadlow, who stood at 8 feet 11 tall, the tallest human ever on record that they tell us about. And I'll get back to Andre in a minute. You see, there is endless information about a certain institute hiding this from us and not allowing it in museums and literally covering it up. And we're not just talking 8, 9 foot, 10 foot giants. No, giants as big as 12 and 15 feet. Endless real newspaper articles talking about very big giants. And it's biblical. They talk about giants dozens of times in the Bible. And not just this size giant, but giants that, unless you get the right perspective of, you might not even notice. That's the Teton Mountains. Kind of sounds a lot like Titan. But back to Andre the Giant. You see, they tell us, and well, if there were still bloodlines around of the fallen angels who mated with women and created the giants, the Nephilim, I wonder if they'd be protected. Do you think they'd be protected? Like if they were of that bloodline and they had some ability to help these individuals live longer than normal lives, maybe they would fake their deaths and they would become other people. And if that's what it is, if it's bloodline, well, I bet Andre is part of that bloodline, because after all, he is still pretty giant. That's Arnold. And you see, even though they said he was 7'4", they say he was closer to about 6'11". And thanks so much to a subscriber who pointed out that there is someone, an athlete in fact, that stands right around that same height. He's Russian and a boxer, and his name is Nikolai Volev. And he just happens to bear a very similar resemblance to Andre, even down to those chiclet teeth. But a lot of you will go running to the internet and say, well, he's only 52, and if Andre were still alive, he'd be 80. Well, yeah, and that's because you just don't realize that they can reduce their age. And they're disclosing that with Kris Jenner. That's her, because she guzzled some rhymes with Abrina Brome, for those of you caught up to my vampire videos. If not, you should scroll a day or two. Anyway, back to Andre and Nikolai, who again, just seems like maybe he got in better shape. But it couldn't possibly be the same being, right? Not possible. Well, they sure start their sentences the same way. I wonder if they move alike and talk alike.
They're going to make a difference. Bobby Heenan is my manager now. I'm still a professional wrestler, and I'm still wrestling the way I know how to wrestling. But that day, the only guy who showed up was Bobby Heenan. And that was the only way can I get my license back.
But if that side-by-side wasn't good enough for you, I went ahead and did another. And everything smooths over perfectly. Eyebrow to eyebrow to eye to janky teeth. Kind of looks like a vampire's teeth if you ask me. The chin's the same, the nose is the same. Look right here. Look at his dent right there. Speaking of vampires, I'm not even gonna go there. But if you know me at all, you know I'm not going forward with this unless I find something, like a very noticeable scar there, and one there that seemed to look pretty identical in the exact same place. But there's more, like another scar right there that seems to look exactly like that, and their heads are at a little different angle, and a birthmark there and a birthmark there that seems to resemble that one and that one in exact relation to each other. Now, can you guess who those two belong to? Can you guess? They're vampires. Literal vampires. And you know who else isn't gone? You want to know who else isn't gone? Because they're all part of the fallen angel bloodline club. In fact, I think he is actually just a fallen angel. The fallen angel. In fact, the one from the bottomless pit named Abaddon or Abaddon. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes, folks. I'm just here and find these things that line up so well because of coincidence, and I do it to entertain you. I don't really care about exposing all these Nephilim bloodline to the fallen angel, Luciferian, Masonic, deceiving pieces of garbage. I don't really care about that. No, I spend all my time doing it just to entertain you. Entertainment only people, I'm sure they're not the same, even though they have the exact same humps above their eyelids. Have a nice day. Oh, and they hid giants from us, because if you knew giants existed, you wouldn't believe in evolution, and probably not the Big Bang, and probably not the globe, and you would wake up to the fact you're in a spiritual realm and created by a divine heavenly father, and probably believe in the Bible because it tells you giants existed.
Never